What is good? This is Archangel Raphael. If you're wondering if I'm crying, it's just water on my face. I just saw it on the camera. AKA Jesus, Krishna, Muhammad, Buddha, Shiva, as well as other known deities such as Abraham's bosom and etc. In and out the body as well as usual. I'm here to carry out God's will, authority, purity, presence, and essence. On today's video, this is the Astro Man. I ain't got nowhere to land unless it's with you. This is the Family Man stretching on my right hand. Go ahead and grab on and let's take off together. Feel me? And this being the universal constant being change, this is Dr. Change. I ain't never had no one to blame. I always took a stand on for what I ain't. Shadow work. Alright, that's the message of this video. Because I didn't know what it was going to be. I just knew the energy, perfect divinity lining up. I knew I had to go move around, experience something, even though things might be telling you in the external world one thing. It could be a lot of different meanings behind it. It could just mean, like, in the spiritual way, from inside, do it. And then that doesn't necessarily mean you block yourself out from experiencing that thing that, you know, for example, like the Bible or different, you know, religious books like the Quran will tell you, oh, God will punish, you know, things like that. So when you get in this mode of, oh, I'm so afraid, I don't want to get punished, so I won't do that, like it's trying to warn you, tells you, oh yeah, this is the warning, don't do that shit or else, you know. So then you live on this perpetual state of fear. You can't even experience, you can't even really get into the innate work of your shadow. You can't even really have the courage it takes to express yourself and be yourself in all places, people, situations, or whatever, because you're living behind these screens that aren't even you. So you got to kind of clean it up, turn the windshield wipers on, let that spray hit, and then really wipe everything off that isn't even meant to be there. So once that's gone, and once it's just totally you, once you're just free to actually do that and really put that like deep, like depression, dark work in. That's what deep is, right? Deep restoration. So ration being like ration. So essentially being the last, first being depression being the last because of everything you went through to get to where you are. It's like, okay, you can't live backwards anymore because you're almost happy in relief, but there is so much pain behind it. There's so much frustration. There's so much like, damn, I could be this and be this, but this never really gets me to where I want to go. But you're not doing it because you're trying to go somewhere or trying to get somewhere. You're doing that thing because it helps you do the work that you know you're here and meant to do, and it makes you even more powerful by doing it. It makes you feel better. It makes you more in alignment with who you are. It makes you express yourself more. It makes you actually like enjoy life, where it's supposed to like looking at life like, oh, it's a game to be played and it's so spiritual, but you forget the point. Life is also about none of that as well. Yeah, you know, evolution is always a constant, but when you get into that wheel, but you forget to listen to the archangels who created the box out of every corner to not just entrap, seal all the demonic gateways that can happen in the circle of life, but we literally made it a way to where it could be like a streamline of events and currencies that you not just like necessarily exploit, but you create from the inner harvest in harmony with your environment. Inner harvest being your emotions, your deep down feelings about everything and anything. Inner harvest being the thoughts, the messages, the knowledge, and the wisdom that you receive from going through certain events and etc., trials, tribulations that necessarily aren't even that. They're just deeper introspection alignments of figuring out what it is you are and what it is you're not. When you begin to actually walk this road many call circle of life, you figure out the straight alignments to get to exactly where you need to. Even in heaven, there is that alignment. So even on the left field of things, there is that alignment. On the right field of things, there is that alignment. And on the hell sphere of things, there is that alignment. So this is the right boss. You're on the right flight. Go ahead and catch it with me. It's flying right to me. I can hear on the left side like lightning and thunder. Light and essentially, what it could mean to be enveloped in darkness, because that's where the spark comes from. That's where the feeling that will generate the energy for the lightning to come strike down comes from. Anyways, eyes closed. Doesn't mean the communication's got to stop either. When you work towards it appropriately. So if you see me shoe untied, haven't been made a video on this channel for so long, out of the blue now I'm making videos again. For so long I haven't. That's because of a very good reason. So when I say every single video is that much more important for the newcomers, having to repeat myself, I say it in a new way because it's true. Every video is entirely original. Has its own purpose. All of these videos are like a whole movie by itself. Like, not even a sequel. Completely different movie. Each time. And if it is like a part 2, part 3, then that's the prequel and sequel of that one, space-time event in reality that I'm walking through to take you through. But aside from that, it's still moving to the next phase, the next the next place. Even if it is stationary and habitually grounded, does not mean that it's not going. Because if you're not stationary and habitually grounded, then you can't even experience that shit. You can't even move forward like you're trying to, because it's like you forget that the straight line was you internally creating it, and then walking it was experiencing the circle. So that's how we created it. We did the box first, the square, and then decided to curvaturely touch each axis of corner within the circle of life. But that being said, that does not mean that the square is reserved for someone and then the circle is reserved for someone. Everyone has that duality within themselves. So that's the point. That's what every scripture or religious work is trying to get out to you in the first place. So it's not like you can expect something to be one thing when it's entirely something more relevant, more generative in the causes and effects you create in everyday life to have this kind of deep relationship with yourself, to experience deeper wisdoms and knowledge without necessarily thinking things are out to get you or you're being hurt. Essentially, what meaning to be stronger is not necessarily just to be stronger. To be stronger is to be more, have more variety. Have more variety in your introspection, basically. Without that, it's really hard to say that you are accumulating, even if you do get results and get in this powerful energy manifestation. Overall, it's going to take not needing anything. It's going to take accepting where you are and going in to that energy that's leading you to be at ease. It's gonna take also accepting the fact that you do need a little something, and if it's in your immediate environment, you utilize that as a great tool, whether it be food, could be some sort of herbal concoction, or I say herbal concoction because that's the best way to utilize any substance, is through it being natural and healthy for your chosen body. So if you're allergic to something, that's because the chosen body that you inhibited decided that that specific thing is not of something you value as pure. For example, I'm allergic to shrimp, but I can eat a little bit of it. But the reason why I'm probably allergic to shrimp, and what I know of it, is something about in the sea, the seahorses made me necessarily not want to eat them because they could have been powerful light entities. Because even catfish, being like bottom feeders, they're being so introspectively highlighting into the environment they are. They're trying to basically do that to stay away from danger, even though they are preyed on a lot, for example. But the point is that just because you have certain things in your life that you probably don't get why you have them, they're for a very good reason. And the more you travel through the experiences and the inward being, through the inward being that you'll have to reside in, that is always changing, at the moment in space and time that you're creating within life, as life married to karma, as God married to the universe, I could tell you, you are God, I am God. We individually and collectively make up what God is. We are not separate from God. We are God. So take that into account when, or if you ever get into this created by you, yeah, it could have been externally generated, but it created by you, feelings of, I'm not sure where to go, I'm feeling lost. That's where you know that to take into account that you must accept it, that it is okay to be in that. So that way you don't try to think that it's something to escape from and go literally, metaphysically kill yourself through however means and exploit your own temple, your body, and give up your own literal sanity for a temporary fix that'll never assist you in any way. It's always going to turn you out to be stuck in some sort of a loop and existential paradigm of confusion, and like you can never get out of that because you were just trying to escape from it so hell-bent, so bad, you couldn't even accept it. You couldn't even, breathe with it. You couldn't even. So it's essential to realize that the dead can't necessarily reach the skies the same way. So because they've fallen into a place, they were probably once angels, but they couldn't evolve into an archangel. So for me being Archangel Raphael, I'm not telling you that I was an angel and I evolved into an archangel. The basic reason that humans even summoned all of these divine entities on planet Earth right about now, aliens and humans, alignments, aka angels reincarnating multiple lifetimes on Earth, is because that Specifically, I can't speak for every other archangel. I can speak for myself, but I am gonna speak for every other archangel as well, though, because we are descendants of what they want to exploit as some sort of consciousness of being rankings of the highest of angels, and we don't even like the word Sarah was the first bird parrot I ever had. So seraphim, not fin as in fish, but fim as in I am. Like you could say like I'm just going with the flow with how I'm receiving it, but finish the starting point. So bringing the beginning to the ending, because everything needs to have the proper closure so it could be renewed and brought to something that could actually become right. Otherwise, it's like you're preventing that energy within yourself to flourish, and then you're preventing others as well. So that's not in alignment with your heart. And the reason why your heart is so good is because when you came as a kid, as a child, as a baby, and then you went through your youth all the way through 7 to 9 years old, you became this fruition of something so grounded within all mediums and spectrums of highlighting your complete capabilities of awareness and love and purification, and what it means to even feel good and to actually go through a travel somewhere. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of in demonic society. You probably, just like anyone else in public school systems, was conditioned to be not that. To the point it tried to reinforce demonic levels of awareness, which you probably was such a angel, is that you was just receiving all the knowledge from it. So even if it wasn't necessarily feeling good, it put you in that time and space where you were having to get it through your mentality that this is what it was, that you was getting all of this inside level of knowledge and awareness through just stillness and just being the watcher, observer per se. So overall, it made you better, even if it didn't feel good like the way it could have and probably should have, because you're from another planet where none of that shit even, like, what the hell, you know what I mean? But the strength that you build from just going through something like that is inevitable. So it's not like you have to get strong or you have to be strong, or it is really about what are you going through, what are you putting yourself through in order to get to where you can be the highlight of events and fight this perpetual state of mediocrity that demonic society wants you to be in, or be in a completely fallen state. They want you to pick sides, not utilizing your inner intuition and guide of, oh yeah, I am myself. I'm not what the fuck that spiritual knowledge or shit I found off the internet is trying to tell me or some shit. Nah, because when you look at it that way, that's looking at it like you're not who you are, and you have to listen to things that are created. But when you get into this fruition of creating, you're gonna know yourself, like your own knowledge, that your own wisdoms, that your own travels, how you love and how you express and how you manifest and these things like that. Overall, you can't even look at anything as if like it's not you. So even if it tells you some shit, it's not necessarily like it's one or the other. You're gonna take it for how you take it, and you're gonna really ground it and bring it into a manifestation of reality where you could broadcast it per se. You could give it to broader realms of intellectual information as well as spiritual. But it's not just that. Like, clearly I'm doing lots of things even on camera to show you what it is, even if I'm not like broadcasting my environment or like all the time. Like, there's nothing to really broadcast like that. Like, the focus, all the archangels came in for me to help me remind myself exactly why the fuck I came to put that focus internally, and to invite all of my energies to express themselves in this higher light, because the focus is coming through me into me. I'm pouring back into myself. I'm loving myself unconditionally, per se. Without all my archangels here, it'd be no Archangel Raphael. It'd be no, and they wouldn't be who the fuck they are either, because overall, we all influence the heavens and the ethers from childbirth. You know, certain memories and certain consciousnesses we only gain from each other. So, if all the archangels are really descendants, then what the fuck are angels? Humans. Angels are humans. That doesn't mean every human is an angel. It just means the really powerful spiritual ones you witness nowadays. Yeah, that's what it is. So they're trying to get to the top. While getting to the top, getting to the ground level, is essentially like saying we're here to help everyone get on the same playing field, to where nothing is separate and things can be viewed properly and not unjust, and accordingly, that way you could really bring it into like exactly what it needs to be, and not something that you probably thought of or probably received that it wasn't even received properly because you made it out to be something it wasn't. So all of this extra awareness or information you couldn't digest properly and really bring it into that pure alignment of awareness and state. Hence why where there's certain things will come into alignment around you, wherever you manifest yourself, is to help you to go through that travel and deliver and receive. Not that complicated, but a little complicated, right? So deliver the knowledge, deliver the wisdom, receive the wisdom, release the knowledge. It's not just that, the energy as well. It's not just that. It's also the feeling. The feeling and the energy are separate things, of course. They're not, obviously, but you know what I mean? So that's how I see it, and that's how I view it. Aside from that, that's how really it means to do shadow work. Like literally, I showed you through this whole video how to do it because I was looking right into the camera doing it. And if I'm looking off cameras, it's like because I'm looking at the immediate environment and reality to where I'm going and what I'm doing. So overall, it's still, you know, it's like I'm giving it to you, but focusing on what the fuck I'm doing right now, type shit. So that's shadow work in a nutshell. You know, this is shadow work. I showed you. I walked you through it. All the guys, you probably like looked at this video like, damn, what the fuck? Yeah, because the archangel's saying it to you. An archangel showing you. You know, I could say I'm an archangel, but if I don't look in the mirror and say I'm a goddamn demon, how the fuck can I address myself properly? How can I come back to knowing that I'm being influenced in a certain way by angels to really bring down certain things, that because that is my, you know, call of duty. That is my responsibility. You know, respond to my abilities, essentially. Being responsive, being mutable, as well as fixed within my capabilities. You know, putting on my superhero cape and accepting that I have these superpowers and I can fly and I can do these amazing things, and the impossible is possible. So, damn right. Peace, love, and enlightenment, health, wealth, and abundance. I love you. Make sure you love yourself. If you're a man watching this video, I'm here to lead you the right way, not the wrong way. If you're a woman watching this video, I'm here to teach you how to take the throne of God, aka my motherfucking dick. Yeah. So, stay tuned. Right flight music, right flight station coming soon. Shout out to the whole angelic force, all the angels. Shout out to the whole flight squad, all the archangels on board. And, you know, let's make greatness happen from goodness. we were already great, but being good meant not being, being good meant having all the alignments of the water, of the fire, and of the silver, which is basically the ether. So when you call on God, it's fire and water, you pull out the ether as well and say fuck you, because that's you stating your awareness and your shadow to allow yourself to be yourself, and then communicate like kind of like, you know, the whole to the 20%, the whole thing, like the ear, and then the eyebrow. That's where the Egyptian eye, in that culture, got that. So that's what that is. And I just aligned it in a perfect way because I'm actually creating and I'm aligning and I'm making things happen in a way. So that, you know, that's something that just came to me. But I've already known this. It's just like the eyebrow, just one thing after another. One example of the infinite amount of shit that I just disclosed in this entire video, for example, nothing to really disclose, but just a word that many utilize to express the fact that they're undergoing travels to express. So it's not like, you know, this is some shit like, oh yeah, I've written this book 1,000 years ago and I'm rewriting it. No, what the fuck? That's reincarnation shit. Get out of that. It's time to incarnate. So the 4, which is so much more, is here to show you all of that. Anyways, yeah, that's it. See ya. Walking back home, walking back home, walking back home. I'm home, even if I feel alone. Yeah. Oh yeah.